Hello, Call of Duty fans. Welcome back to the channel. Good to see you. Sorry again, I missed you guys for going into day number 1. A little bit of issues to me coming out of DreamHack Dallas. I'm not gonna lie, did not get much sleep. And well, I woke up today and was like, I'm not gonna make a video. So we're just gonna go ahead and skip ahead. And I apologize for not giving you guys the insight from day 1. But here's all you need to know for day 2. Let's start with the recap from our first day of week number, what is this now, 10? Yikes, we are getting in there. Monday, June the 3rd, Heretics going up against Elevate. And, you know, I did not have a chance to talk about these games previous, but I had this one going in a 3-2 favoring Heretics. They have looked okay, and Elevate have looked good. Elevate, of course, coming off of a 3-0 week last week. They needed to essentially win this one today, I think, before they would start going up against all the heavy hitters, and likely this week would be a very difficult week for them. Unfortunate thing is, Heretics have been very good lately across every single game mode, and that would actually be the case as we would see every single map be played here be very, very close. Well, the first 3 were very, very close. It started off with the hard point, and goodness, a super hot start coming out for our boys of Heretics. The Vamos was strong today as they would start things off on frequency. And again, that opening rush towards the ring elevator area for that first hard point usually goes very back and forth unless somebody pops off. Heretics popped off and they would get a very early lead, but Elevate would bounce back throughout the majority of the map. They would not be able to bounce back quite enough, though, a very back and forth affair, but Heretics would take the opening. Then we would go to the Search and Destroy. This is a game mode that Heretics has been very good at in their last couple of weeks, even though they have not found a victory in their week 9. They've looked relatively well in the Search and Destroy, only losing a single map that was at a tune of a 4-6 loss, and that happened to Enigma 6. So they're able to beat the likes of teams like 100 Thieves in Search and Destroy, which not the biggest of accomplishments, but an accomplishment nonetheless. Heretics would start off things looking very good. We're looking like we're going to get ourselves a 2-0, but then Elevate would hit right on back on Arsenal, and they would outlast all the way to around 11, where Elevate would survive. Skies, incredible moments. Profizi, incredible moments, as they were able to clutch it up with what was the last 1v1, I believe it was, on that Arsenal S&D. So a 6-5 for Elevate to map 3. Control, Seaside. Elevate has not been very good at the control, or pardon me, yes, at the control. We have not seen them play Seaside at all yet. Heretics, in the meantime, they have looked very good when playing on Seaside. They are a total of 4-4 going into today, so it's not the greatest, but not the worst, but they've looked very good specifically on Seaside in the past, at least recently. This one would go very back and forth once again. Clutch moments just missed from specialists by Heretics really did end up costing them here, as Elevate would be able to find their way into their last little push into A. Heretics could not quite hold the defense. They were down, I think, around 8 or 9 lives at one point trying to defend A. They were able to even things back up, holding off 3 consecutive attack pushes, but they weren't able to hold off the final one, which would have been the one to make the difference. Elevate able to close things out, a 3-2. They would take the lead, which means Heretics would have to win the last hardpoint and the last Search and Destroy. And they would do that pretty easily. 250 to 160 that was played on Arsenal, and then a 6-2 Search and Destroy on Gridlock. Heretics did look like the better team, and they would win it at a 3-2 scoreline, which is right about where I anticipated that one going. I figured it would be a split of the Search and Destroys and a split of the hard points, and I thought Heretics would win the control, but regardless, that was pretty close to accurate as far as what I had going into today. Then 100 Thieves and eUnited. This was a battle for essentially the best in Division B, as these teams have been tied for what feels like forever in the standings, and this would finally break it. 100 Thieves, the last time they played eUnited in the divisional, was a loss, so that's why eUnited was holding the tiebreaker against 100 Thieves. This one could have made things even if 100 Thieves were to win. They did not play all that well in the first hard point. It was a 250 to 131 on Gridlock. That's the first loss that they have faced on Gridlock. 8-0 going in was 100 Thieves on the map. They would lose this one convincingly, though, 250 to 131. And again, this team has been scared on this map and in a couple of hard points lately. They had a 250 to 243 win on Gridlock versus the Heretics, and then a 250-243 win on Arsenal. So their hard point has been a little chaotic lately, and today it was just slow rotations all over the place, just coming out flat. eUnited taking the advantage, finding themselves the power positions, and building an insurmountable lead. To the Search and Destroy, we would go to Payload. This is not a map that is all that favored, I would say, for 100 Thieves. They're right around okay at it, but that's not what you want going into a good Search and Destroy team like eUnited, who happens to be a very good payload team at 6-3 going into this match, and they would go off to a huge start. Even though 100 Thieves did find first blood in a number of the rounds, on a map like Payload, you would think that's good, but 100 Thieves is not quite rotating or challenging together, and eUnited would be able to put themselves in a lead. And even though 100 Thieves could claw back and take a couple of rounds to make this total a little bit more respectable, it would still be a 6-4 for eUnited, now up 2-0. So then we go to the Control, played on Arsenal. A map that we've not seen eUnited on a lot over the course of their time playing Control. And a map that 100 Thieves, again, is very good at, 8-3. This is their second best Control map compared to that of Frequency, where they're 6-1. eUnited, though, would be able to come out and give it to 100 Thieves right off the rip. 100 Thieves not quite able to get back into this one whatsoever. They had a good first defensive round, but past that, everything went eUnited's way. This was a convincing 3-0 for eUnited, and I think that really kind of shakes things up, but should make my power rankings at the end of the week a little bit easier, pending eUnited wins out. If they don't win out, I don't know what we're going to do, guys, because I don't know how I'm going to rate this. Let's take a look at tomorrow, though. Tuesday, Denial versus the Heretics, Elevate and eUnited, 100 Thieves going up against Enigma 6, and Team Envy taking on Splice. Should be an interesting day. We'll start things off with Denial and Heretics. These are two teams that, honestly, I feel like are very evenly matched. Of course, Denial coming off their last week with a 3-1 win over Splice. They were also able to take down Envy at a 3-2 score. They did lose to both 100 Thieves and Elevate, and at the end of the week, Denial was sitting there saying they thought that they had the potential of having a 4-0 week, and I agree with that. However, the fact that they didn't, and the loss versus Elevate, leaves me kind of wondering if this team has the ability to clutch up. Because honestly, that set versus Elevate, it was two hard points that went either for Denial very convincingly or for Elevate very convincingly. That's been kind of the tale of their hard point and their respawn in general, is either they win it or they lose it, all of them usually at a convincing fashion. Their Search and Destroy has gotten better. This is a team that in their first week back were able to find themselves a 3-2 win-loss in Search, both losses coming at a 5-6 and a 4-6 respectively. So it should be an interesting matchup, bro. For Heretics, you have to feel really good about their Search and Destroy. They are also now sitting at a 4-2 with only a 4-6 and only a 5-6 loss. My big key is the fact that you need to essentially throw away that first day of games versus Envy, simply because those role swaps were just too punishing. It looks like they've figured it out and they know what they're going to be coming to bat with. I'm still a little bit weirded out by the fact that Methods is the one using the recon when he's playing with an SMG, which is really strange to me, but whatever. It seems to be working for now, and honestly, it's going to be a very tight match between these two. It should be a good one, so do not miss this one coming at 3 o'clock Eastern time. Our second match, Elevate and eUnited, and honestly, don't sleep on this one either. Elevate has looked relatively good just across every single mode. Most specifically, this is a team that's been very improved in the Search and Destroy department. They were 1-4 at London. They have since gone a total of 5-2, with a couple of losses being a little bit more staggering, one to Heretics and one to Splice, a 3-6 and a 2-6 loss. But most impressively for me in this Elevate team is how well they've improved in the Control department, an area that eUnited seems to kind of go back and forth on. Now, they looked very good versus 100 Thieves today, did eUnited, but Elevate has also looked good against decent teams. A 3-1 versus Splice, a 3-2 versus Denial, and a 3-2 versus Heretics are their 3 wins. They were 0-3 loss, was to Enigma 6. So, honestly, do not sleep on this Elevate team. It has potential of going the distance, I think, if eUnited does not show up ready to gun, because if they are overlooking their opponent, Elevate definitely has a chance to go head-to-head with this team, no issue. Switching back over, though, our third match of the day will be 100 Thieves and E6, and honestly, this is going to be an interesting one for me, because Enigma 6, they kind of left me a little bit underwhelmed. The 3-2 loss to Elevate and the 2-3 loss to eUnited really hurts, and the 0-3 loss to Splice as well. Honestly, I think they could have played that set versus Splice a lot closer. I wish they would have had that one back, and I'm sure they do too, but that wasn't going to be the case. So the biggest thing as you take a look at this Enigma 6 team when you go up against 100 Thieves is, will 100 Thieves come out with a little bit more fire now that they've lost a match, or will they just kind of be like, all right, well, we just need to get through this week, we just get ready for Anaheim? That would be bad if 100 Thieves does that, because this Enigma 6 team has looked very good in their last half of the previous week. Taking Heretics to 5 and Elevate to 5. Sure, they lost the one versus Elevate, but they looked good just about everywhere, most specifically in the Control and the Respawn. Both teams are very mediocre when it comes to their Search and Destroy. Enigma 6, who was very good during their time at London, only losing a single map of Search and Destroy, has kind of let that slip a little bit with a couple of bad losses. A 1-6 loss versus eUnited and a 2-6 loss versus Heretics. There's also a 3-6 and a 4-6 loss to Elevate, who, again, like we mentioned, was not the greatest of Search and Destroy teams. So, If E6 can come out hot and take the first hard point, I see this one potentially going all the way to 5 if they can find a way to keep themselves in this game and do well in the search and destroy and take one off of 100 Thieves. To finish off the rest of the day, though, Envy and Splice will be our last match, and it should be a good one. Splice will be getting the substitution of Nolson. Keep that in mind. That has been officially stated that Accuracy will be out and Nolson will be in. That reasoning alone makes me think that the Splice team is definitely going through more than just performance things. I think there's probably some inner things that are going on, and you can only switch out one player at a time. Personally, I think with how Envy looked as far as how they were able to play not only eUnited close, even though it was a 1-3, but also 100 Thieves close, even though it was a 0-3. Again, all of those maps were very, very close. I see that Envy, if they play like they did last week, should not have an issue with Splice, especially with them going through a change so recently. It just comes down to what we think might actually occur. So let's go ahead and take a look at our bookies. Worst nightmare again, all of your betting odds and predictions in one spot. I will say Bet365 is usually my go-to site to find the spread bets, and I can't get onto the website, and a lot of people in North America are apparently having an issue accessing the website. It'll just go to like a gray flat screen. Bovada has been awful lately about keeping themselves up to date. They did just recently post up all of the match lines for winners, but no spread bets. So I'll do my best to give you guys the information as far as what might be a good one, what might be a bad one. So let's take a look at the first matchup, Denial versus Heretics. It is Denial as the underdog, plus 110 to the minus 145 of the Heretics. You take a look at the last 10 back and forth, and this is why I see this one going so close. Heretics have not been incredibly good at hardpoint, but they also haven't been terribly bad. A lot of their losses have been close losses. And then on the other side of things, the control losses for Denial are actually pretty bad. For that reason alone, I see these teams splitting the hardpoints, splitting the searches, and Heretics winning the control. It just comes down to the order. I've got this one going at the worst a 3-2 for Heretics, if not a 3-1, but be careful with the spread bet for Heretics. It might be a favorable one, but honestly, it just comes down to the map pool. I don't know how open those bet lines are gonna be before we get the map pool, but just be a little bit careful with this one, because if Heretics do not get the maps that they want, it could be a map. Wow, I can't speak today. It could be as that they go all the way to 5. Going down to the bottom, though, eUnited and Elevate. Like I said, this one could be a good one. Elevate going at plus 245 definitely is tempting, and then minus 335 for eUnited. Unfortunately, the fact of the matter is, there's no way I don't see Elevate winning this one out, just because the search is too good for eUnited. It just comes down to, will eUnited be ready to go on hardpoint and control? I just can't see them winning a search and destroy against eUnited, though. I've got this one personally going 3-1 for eUnited. Going over to group 2 of our day, looking at the bets that were coming in, minus 475 for 100 Thieves, plus 310 for Enigma 6. And honestly, this is one that you want to look at a little bit more seriously if you want to risk some money, because I think Enigma 6 has an opportunity to come out and start to swing on 100 Thieves a little bit. The only thing is, I don't see 100 Thieves losing this match completely, so the plus 310 might be a little high. I'm not sure what the spread lines are out there, but that is a match that you might want to look at the spread bet for, because I've got this one going to 5 with 100 Thieves winning 3-2. It just comes down to a couple different things. Again, Enigma 6 has played very well in the hardpoint and very well in the control. This one very well could be an upset, and if you're looking to bet on that with a little bit more risk involved, this is not a bad line at all, plus 310 to take a look at. And the last match of the day, Envy going up against Splice. Minus 110 for Envy, minus 125 for Splice. Honestly, the minus 110 is a favorable bet line for Envy, as I've got this one going 3-1 for Team Envy, and one that, honestly, the 110 is not a bad line whatsoever. Nolson just being in the mix so late makes me think that Splice is not going to be ready to play against a formidable team like Envy, who still, I feel like, is out there trying to prove themselves after having kind of a mismatched week where they were so close to taking down big teams, but weren't quite able to. I think they're going to be coming out with the Fuego and going to smack around Splice a little bit. So as far as bets as that goes, I'm not sure what the spread line looks for Denial. You might want to take a look at that one. I personally still wouldn't bet that, though, just because I don't think the line would be all that great. Personally, I think that it's probably a good idea to bet the spread if it's favorable for eUnited up against Elevate. The spread, if not the upset potential for Enigma 6. And then honestly, you can bet the spread in favor of Envy, if not just the favorable bet line for them to win that matchup. That's probably one that I'll be looking at to do. I'll be doing match winner and match spread for Envy. I don't think I'll be betting anything else I don't even know if I'll get the chance to bet spreads. So I think we're gonna stay away from showing up what my scorecard would look like, just because I personally am not betting. I can't. There's no spread bets out there. I'm disappointed by it. Stinks, but hopefully we'll get some adjustments to that as we go. I'll keep bothering Bovada. If you are someone who is from the North American scene and you do like to use Bovada, just get on their website and get to their customer support live chat and just tell them, hey, can you please add the spread lines for the Call of Duty games, because I want to bet those as well as you guys do, I'm sure, as well. So those are my predictions going into tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry, this video feels a little chaotic for me. I'm not sure exactly why, but we've got some important news coming down the ropes throughout the week. Hopefully I'll be able to announce it by the end of the week, if not sooner, but hopefully before that happens, we'll be getting some more of those bet lines and we can have a more well-structured show for you guys. So that's what I got for you. Hopefully until next time, you keep holding it down. Later. Bye-bye.